Hi guys, welcome to the channel. My name's Jamie Parry and today I'm going to be talking you through property versus stocks, the pluses and minuses of both and which you think is better. Full disclosure, I'm an absolute novice with stocks and shares and I've been investing in property for the last 7 years. So the research for this video has been more about really me trying to understand why I should be investing in stocks and shares. Over Christmas and since lockdown has began, I've had loads and loads of adverts on my YouTube, online, on Facebook, all of those other social media channels trying to get me to invest. eToro, Trading 212, different books, everything is like invest, invest, invest. Look at this influencer style lifestyle that you can have if you're investing in stocks and shares. Now, I don't really buy into any of that because, as we know, there are lots of sort of scammers and gurus out there on the internet, whether that's property or stocks and shares. So I don't really fall into that, but it did pique my interest. So I bought a book called Warren Buffett's Ground Rules. Now, Warren Buffett, for those of you who don't know, he's one of the richest men in the world and one of the most successful investors of all time. I think he's been investing since the late 1950s and he's still going now. And really, some of the decisions that he makes in terms of his investments actually has an impact on the market because of the scale that he is now at with his investments. So he's certainly somebody worth studying. Whether you're looking at property, stocks and shares, cryptocurrencies, gold and silver, always try and learn from the experts. There are plenty of people like myself giving bits of advice, giving their opinions, but ultimately, if you want to get rich, speak to a rich man. And I want to learn from the richest, most successful men and women that I can. Hence why I try and read books from those who have been there, done it, and are established at the highest level. Let's look at property. It's a solid long-term investment. It's pretty stable. Yes, it'll have peaks and troughs over the years, but ultimately you're looking at a pretty upward trajectory if you invest in a good area and a good solid property, which will require good due diligence at the start. The drawbacks are it requires a lot of capital to get in with. If you've got 10 or 15,000 pounds saved up, it's not really going to be enough to give you a quality property with a decent yield in a strong area. Great things about property, it's solid, it's fairly reliable, fairly stable, but it will cost you a lot to get started in the first place. Okay, let's have a look at stocks now. A share is a small part of a business. So if I own 100 shares in Tesla or 100 shares in Microsoft, then I own a very, very small part of that business, of that company. So that's quite nice in itself. For those of you who have got an emotional buy-in to products, Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Microsoft, Apple, if you use their products all the time, then it's quite a nice thing to say, do you know what? I actually own a little bit of that, even if it is, and probably most likely will be, a very, very small part. A lot of research and understanding needs to go into looking at the stock market. There are plenty of places to lose your money if you don't understand. They go up and down. They're very, very volatile. One that seemingly is quite good is what's called an index fund, which is made up of a number of businesses. So your risk is already spread for you. One I've been looking at is called the S&P 500, which is 500 of the United States top businesses, okay, the top 500 businesses. So if you buy shares, for example, in the Vanguard S&P 500, then when you put your money in, it's spread across loads of those businesses. So you've got a much better chance of stable growth, which might be a good little avenue to explore when you're beginning. I've stuck some money into the S&P 500, which I'm going to put in. Warren Buffett advocates if you do that and keep topping it up, but keep it in there for a 30-year period, then you're going to do a lot better than if you just put it in the bank. If you were looking at individual stocks and shares, this is where it becomes a little bit more risky. As I said, with the index fund, that's spread over a number of businesses, fantastic. But if you're going to pick one company to invest in, then you want to be really, really sure that that company is worth investing in. That requires a lot of due diligence, a lot of research, looking at their financial standing at the moment, where they've come from, where they've been, what their assets are, what their liabilities are. And I'm not going to lie to you guys, it's a bit of a mind blower for me, a little bit beyond my understanding. What would probably be good for me if I was really serious about getting involved with it would be to look at an expert in the field, an expert investor. And that would be somebody who has some skin in the game, is investing themselves, isn't just one of these fund managers who is taking a profit depending on who's putting money in. You want somebody who says, yeah, okay, I'll take money when we're doing well. If you're working with experts in property, if you're working with experts in stocks and shares, work with people who have skin in the game. Very, very, very important. Compound interest is also fascinating, and really, really good one. So when we're talking about those indexes, if I put £1,000 into the S&P 500 and in 12 months that goes up 10%, I then have £1,100. So if it goes up another 10% the next year, then that 1,100, that would be compounded. So then by December of the following year, I would actually have £1,210. That interest that you're getting has the potential, if you invest early enough, for long enough, in a good enough product, to make you good money. Now, if you're looking at individual stocks, these have the potential to make you rich. I'd say not overnight, but certainly in a 12-month period. If you'd have invested in Tesla this time last year, you could have got it for $45 a share. So if you'd have bought £10,000 worth of shares in Tesla, that £10,000 would now be worth around about £187,777. That's based on the price, which went up to around $845 a share. So there's fantastic money to be made, but it's very risky. If you put your £10,000 into Tesla now, when it's at $845 a share, and then it goes back down to 45, well, your £10,000 is not going to be worth very much. There are sort of plus and minuses to both. What I'd say, as with everything, the little disclaimer: do your research, speak to experts. Of course, there are scammers in both. If you've got somebody who's on the internet and who's pushing, join my course, listen to me, I'm the expert, look at my fast car, look at my hot wife, look at me, I live on a beach and I can do everything from my phone and work 10 minutes a day, that should be red flags. Look up Mike Winnett's Entrepreneur Formula, and that will really give you a good idea of who to trust and who not to trust. And it will give you some red flags to these salesmen who are trying to sell you every course under the sun and saying they live like kings. If you want to get rich, hard work is the most important factor. Good idea, hard work, and a little bit of luck, and you'll get there with some perseverance. I hope that that's given you a little bit of food for thought when it comes to property and stocks. What do I invest in? Property. Why do I invest in property? Because I know property. Why don't I invest in stocks to a large degree? Because I don't know about them. I don't know enough. And that would be my advice to you, whichever one you choose, is make sure you know what you're talking about. Do your research, understand what you're talking about, understand that area, and best of luck. Thank you very much, guys. If you like this video today, please hit subscribe. It really helps. We're getting up there, getting towards the 100 mark. I've got some exciting videos coming down the pipe. So please hit subscribe and support me. Have a great day.